to take notes. You can write things down, have some notes for yourselves, but also know that you have lifetime access to the training, so you can come and revisit this at any point in time. And now I will pull up our beautiful slideshow and we will get started.
Love it.
All right, we're seeing it. Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. My screen seems to be a little laggy. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm getting it on my side. Perfect. Thank you for all of the notifications, Google Meet. All right, let's just go ahead and land in this space for a moment. Welcome to the Courageously Bold Business Bootcamp. Oh, I have not been so excited about starting a program and teaching business from this perspective. Like, this just feels like an incredible full circle moment for me, and I'm so honored to share that with you. So let's get into what we are going to be covering here today. And let me see if I can navigate the slides from this page. Here we go. Okay. Oh, we are on page 28. Let's go back to page 2. Yes. Okay.
Wait, quick question. Will we have access to these PowerPoints too?
I'm happy to give you access. Yeah. So definitely the video. If you want the PowerPoint as well, we can totally do that.
Cool, thanks.
Let me just configure some things with my windows so I'm seeing what you're seeing and I have access to the PowerPoint here as well. There we go. Okay. All right. So this is module 1. And in module 1, we are covering success codes for your life and for your business. Making sure you understand how to show up in order to be successful before we even start. So we're starting out on the right foot. Oh, here we go. All right. Apologize for the lag, but we're getting it worked out. So my intention for you here today, I want to give you a complete overview of the 8-week Courageously Bold Business Bootcamp program. And I really want to ensure that you know what steps you need to take within this program to see epic results for yourselves. I'm going to provide clarity on the approach needed to be successful, like the mindset, the habits, things like that. And I'm going to teach you how to explore your own personal success codes through the lens of astrology, numerology, human design, cycle syncing, so that we are finding the balance between like building a sustainable business and honoring the strategy and the tactics and everything that gets to support you in doing that. So quickly before we dive into it all, I just want to share with you how I got here, a little bit of my origin story. Oops. Here we go. Oh, come on, Canva. Maybe. Oh, where are my words? There we go. All right. So I bootstrapped a YouTube channel starting at age 22, 2018. And with a lot of perseverance, I learned through trial and error, a whole lot of mistakes, like how to build a big audience simply by sharing my story. That was the profound lesson through that experience, was the magnetic quality of just living a life of authentic intention, following your own personal call to adventure, and how that attracts a community around you. And a community is powerful, an audience is powerful, but the views didn't equal big dollars. They didn't equal sustainable success. They didn't equal security. Like, even tens of thousands of weekly views on YouTube didn't translate to sustainable income. And the lesson there was that impact was the missing ingredient. So a successful business needs to help other people solve problems. You can attract a massive audience and community by sharing your story, being authentic, vulnerable, being you, sharing the real life adventure. But in order to have that impact, you have to help people solve problems. And that's what a successful business does. So with that knowledge, I wrote and self-published a guidebook to help my readers apply my life-changing lessons to their own lives. And the feedback was so overwhelmingly positive, I knew I was onto something. Plus, it was fun and it was exciting for me, and it was really like a purpose-fulfilling moment. So then I started exploring, learning how to offer services and facilitate transformation as a coach. And this is where like all of the pieces of the puzzle fell into place for me, where being in my purpose as someone who is serving humanity and starting to build that sustainable life supporting foundation that was giving me freedom that I craved, allowing me to travel, allowing me to live life on my own terms. So these are all of the pieces that inform what I now coach and teach on as a business mentor. So with that said, our agenda for this video is to go over the foundations of business success. And what this looks like is really just an overview of the Courageously Bold Business Bootcamp program that you're in. So week by week kind of explanation of what we're diving into. And then we're going to go over like how to create insane results inside this program, inside your business, specifically navigating the roadblocks that are sure to come up and finding those amplifiers that can enable you to amplify your true self, your truth, your authentic purpose, and tapping into your own innate wisdom and knowledge, your gifts that are paving the way for this incredible business that you're building. And finally, we'll go into personal success codes and what it looks like for you to build a thriving business in alignment with your body's natural wisdom through cycle syncing, through numerology, through astrological insights, and human design. Now, these are all such massive topics in and of themselves that we're really just doing a cursory kind of overview and giving you that invitation to explore each of these different things in your own time, in your own way, as we go through the program. So how does all of that sound? Let me just get back to the page. Are we all tracking? We all following? Does that sound good so far? Thumbs up. Love it. All right. So let's go over the program. Your blueprint to building a soul-aligned, thriving business. So the first thing that I want you to know is that the space is both a sanctuary and a dojo. And what I mean by that is that a sanctuary is intended to be a space where you feel safe, you feel seen, you feel held, you feel like you can show up exactly as you are in your hot mess, in your total embodiment and badass authority, like wherever you're at as we go through the emotional ebbs and flows of this program. Know that whatever space that you're in, even like when life gets crazy and overwhelming and maybe you have to take a little bit of time away from the program and you start to feel guilty and you start to feel shame and like these icky feelings coming up that make you want to run and hide and not be seen, that is especially when this program is here, this community is here. I am here to support you in this process. It's also a dojo, which is a place of mastery, where you come to train, you come to learn, you come to master your craft. So that means that you're not expected to show up as an expert. You're expected to show up as a beginner. And even if I go over concepts that you're already familiar with, I really invite you to consistently step into that beginner's mindset of what else can I learn here? What else can I take away? Even if I'm familiar with this concept already, is there anything here that I can apply in a different way or look at things from a different lens to get even more juice, even more meat from whatever concept we're exploring? So that is the intention behind this program. And the way that we accomplish that is through the 3 pillars of education, support, and accountability. The education, you're here. This is the format where we will be on live teaching calls. I will be going through presentations, slideshows, explaining concepts, and then inviting you into action items and homework, whether that looks like workbooks to apply what we talked about in the teaching call. That might look like action items for you to take on social media. developing relationships in person, in real life. That's going to have a variety of different applications. And that education portion is happening every week. Like I said, you're getting lifetime access. So take notes, soak it in. And the invitation is really to come back to this multiple times. Have it playing in the background as you're driving around, as you're out for a daily walk. Just continue to immerse yourself in the material, because the more times that you listen, the more times that you expose yourself to these kinds of concepts, the more it's going to land, the more you're going to get out of it. So if you listen to the same kind of thing 2 or 3 times, you're going to get a different takeaway each time, because there's layers and there's levels to everything that we're going into. Now, we also have support, and that happens on these live teaching calls. That happens during our coaching calls on Tuesday, and that happens between calls within our Slack group. So in your email, in your welcome email, you got an invitation to join the Slack channel, and that is really the hub of everything within this program, where you will have links to all of the education, where you will have space to ask questions, where you'll be able to interact, encourage, support, and connect with one another as we go. And that's also where we'll be checking in for accountability. And the accountability aspect happens on the coaching calls, where I find out, where you're at. We look at your current situation, where you want to be by the end of that next week, in terms of applying the homework of the program, in terms of action items for your business, in terms of self-care and how you're going to be intentionally caring for yourself through this process. And then I'm going to actually publicly post those action items that you self-assign into the Slack group for added accountability. So we all know what those intentions are. And then we'll check in the following week to see how you did. And this isn't there's no punishment. There's no consequences for not following through, because I know that we are all empowered, driven women. So if things aren't happening, I know that there's something going on in your life, actual scheduling conflicts, things that have to take priority, relationship, logistical type of things. Or there could be things going on beneath the surface, subconscious blocks getting in the way, your past programming coming up and preventing you from doing what you need to do in order to take the actions, complete those action items, and get the results that you're looking for. So that is our space to just support you in all of that you happen to be going through during this entire process of the program. So let's get into the education. Week by week, what we are going to be covering. So number 1, success codes for life and business. That is what we are going over today. Know that your success is really 20% strategy and tactics and 80% mindset, because it's your mindset that allows you to apply the tactics. The energy that you do things with is so much more important than the actual what of what you're doing. So this is where we begin with a complete understanding of what it takes to be successful, focusing on the mindset that creates your inevitable success, with a special emphasis on how we cyclical, magical feminine beings get to create success in our lives, which is very different from the masculine version of 9 to 5 consistent daily energy expectations that we are taught to operate in from birth. So many of us are made to feel wrong, made to feel lazy, made to feel bad, because we don't live up to these consistent daily energy expectations. So in this video here today, in this training, I'm going to talk you through how to work with your cyclical energy instead of being subjected to it, how to kind of get ahead of things and plan your life, plan your business around your energy's cyclical nature. It's going to be epic. This is such a game changer. It's made such a difference for me in my business, in my life, everything. Such a validating thing to know that this is how I'm meant to function, right? So week 2, we're getting into total clarity and vision alignment. So we're getting into the subconscious mind reprogramming. You're going to do an incredible visioning exercise that will detail exactly who you're meant to be. You'll get super clear on the nitty-gritty of the character that you are playing in this life. Like, it's an entire character upgrade. And this is what you will be installing through reprogramming your subconscious mind that gets you in alignment with your ultimate vision for success in your life, in your business, in your relationships, all the facets. Because the key to getting what you want is knowing what you want. The universe has planted interests and callings in your heart for a reason. Everything wants to conspire in your favor to help you become all that you can be, right? So the trick is getting crystal clear on exactly who that is and getting out of your own damn way, right? That's why we're doing the subconscious mind reprogramming to upgrade all of those past programs that have been playing out that are preventing you from getting to where you ultimately want to be. Because you would be there if it wasn't for those programs that have been running, that have been keeping you where you are. So the trick is getting crystal clear on who that is. And getting out of your own damn way, just like I said. In week 2, I will teach you to remove the layers of past programming that are keeping you stuck and small. And I'm going to make a quick adjustment here because I want to be able to see both screens at the same time. So let me see if I can bring up this presentation without it being full screen. Surely there's got to be a way. Feel bad jumping in the middle of the recording, but let me know if you guys have any insights on getting this page full window without it taking over the entire screen, because I can't see your beautiful faces and how this is all landing.
It's interesting because I can see you guys down at the bottom. I'm on an iPad right now, so I can see you guys down at the bottom of the screen. Then I can see it clearly, like is just above our faces on my end.
Yeah, but for her, you make it full screen, right, Michael? And it takes up your whole screen because
exactly.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how to honestly. Once you figure it out, let me know because I might want to know this down there.
Right? Present full screen. Yeah, okay, that's great. Well, we can just roll with it. Just know that if there's anything coming up, I can still hear you guys. I just can't see you. So,
or you might be able to. Yeah, actually, I don't know. Usually, when I go full screen, then a tiny little Google Meet thing pops up where I have the little screens. Is that not popping up for you?
No.
I don't know.
Sure, there's something in settings that I could mess with for future calls to work it out, but yeah, this is really bumming me out. Anyway, we'll roll with it. We'll roll through. But just holler if there's anything that you want to dive deeper on, any questions that come up. If Sadie joins the room, just let me know. Okay.
Sounds good.
Rolling. Week 3 is the hero's journey. So this is where we dive into writing the story of your life to really uncover and get clear on your greatest gifts. So be advised, be warned, the process of diving into your life story is totally transformational. And we start here when building your business because your gifts are the key to your most powerful and aligned offers that your business is here to deliver. And this is really how we do it from that soul aligned place. Also, because your story is what makes you so incredibly magnetic to your dream clients. So you'll learn to share your story again and again through your marketing, remembering that that's what it takes to build an audience, to build a community, to build a movement around whatever your purpose, whatever your mission happens to be. Just like I learned with the YouTube channel, is like simply sharing your story is all the magnetism that you need. And you need the business, you need the service, you need the coaching offer in order to have that impact and have that income. But the story is really the magic. Week 4 is where we find your most aligned and profitable niche, going super, super specific on who you are meant to serve. Your skills, life experience, purpose, values, mindset, and interests make you and your offer the perfect choice for your dream customers. But we need to identify who those people are. And before building out your offer, you first need to identify the archetype of like that group of people. You need to be able to get inside their head, know what they're thinking, know what they're struggling with, know what their desires are. So I'll teach you how to conduct really effective market research that will inform exactly what your offer needs to include to make it super irresistible and compelling while also building hype and spreading the word before you even launch, which is so fun about market research because it's a really like aligned way to invite people in before you're even doing any marketing. So the people who do market research with you are going to be like, okay, this is interesting. I think I want in on this. Would you keep me posted on when this comes to fruition? Because they know that you're basically building it for them. In week 5, we start crafting your irresistible offer. So your offer is the foundation of your business. Now you know who your dream clients are and exactly what they're struggling with. You're ready to create your irresistible high ticket offer. And this is where you combine your experience and expertise with what you've learned your dream clients specifically want. And we make it irresistible by adding juicy, exciting bonuses that make the price, the high ticket price, seem like an absolute steal for the amount of value you're delivering. And I'll show you how to do this. Alex Hormozy he's one of the rising like business mentors in the space. His tagline around offers is like, you want to make it so compelling that your ideal clients and customers would feel stupid for saying no, right? Because the amount of value packed into the offer is like, oh my God, I'm getting all of that for $1,500. Are you serious? This seems like a no-brainer. This seems like a catch, right? It almost seems too good to be true. And you do that by layering on bonuses that really even, like the value of the bonuses might be more than the value of the actual program, right? And that's how it starts to seem like, oh, holy cow, I'm getting all of this for such a steal. Week 6, we dive into sales, teach you how to become a sales ninja, because no one likes being sold to, but everyone likes to buy. Everyone's buying things all the time. And your secret to success in sales is really simple. It's coming from a heart-centered servant leader kind of perspective. So when you serve your dream clients powerfully, they sell themselves on your offer. You learn the framework for authentic conversations that position your offer as the irresistible bridge between where your dream customer is now, which is ultimately dissatisfied, and where they want to be, dream outcome. Your offer gets them exactly where they want to be. And the real secret to feel good sales for everyone, feeling good for you, feeling good for the buyer, is approaching every conversation like, how can I serve them super powerfully before they even buy? How can I, jump on this call, this sales call, and like find out where they're at and give them actionable steps and tools and value right here, right now that can help them get where they want to be, which is really just demonstrating your expertise as a service provider, as a coach, which is then going to make you seem like a no-brainer kind of option when you get to the conversation where it's like, okay, do you want to step in? Do you want to invest in this offer with me? Week 6 is mastering magnetic marketing. So on social media, those who give the most value win. Those who share the realest stories win. Those who show up authentically win. You become a master of marketing by learning to attract your soulmate clients, fascinating them by telling compelling stories about you, about your life experience, and how it pertains to what you do as a business. Nurturing them by providing enormous value, and converting the dream clients hiding in your audience into paying clients by claiming your authority as a leader, by owning your gifts, owning your skills, owning your expertise and your truth. And really the formula is give, 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 ask. So you're constantly giving value. There's really no such thing as giving away too much value for free, like sharing your entire methodology, all of your secrets. You do that for free because all of that does is just position you as the obvious choice for investing with. And finally, in week 8, we are building a system that delivers insane results. So your competitive edge is that you care way more than your competition. And you are in this program because you care, because you're heart-centered. These are the only kinds of entrepreneurs that I work with, the people who are here to serve humanity and make an impact and make other people's lives better by sharing their gifts. So building out the delivery for your offers, it's going to take time, but it's so worth it to create these systems that allow your customers to reliably achieve their dream outcomes. And you do this and you'll be drowning in referrals, testimonials, and happy clients because you'll have that system that enables everyone to get consistent results again and again. And I'll teach you how to build out the system to create insane results and delight your customers every time, including sprinkling in a little bit of surprise magic to delight and surprise that you're not sharing in your marketing. It's just going to be a little extra juice within the program itself that really makes your offer stand apart. All right. So before we jump into the success portion, let me just come back over here and check in with you guys. How is all of that landing? Do we have any questions or reflections before we move on?
Wow, Michael. I mean, you have gone so above and beyond in terms of like setting up anyone and everyone that was to look at this with success, and the way that you mapped it out, and kind of it feels like it's building every week. So taking that skill that you learned from the previous week and then really applying it then the week forward. So you're incredible, truly. You're so awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it really is like starting with the foundation, second layer, third layer, fourth layer. So everything is going to build week after week after week.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Awesome.
I'm excited about every single week.
Perfect.
Me too.
I love hearing that. Okay, let's dive into success. Know that your success is my number one priority in this container. And the number one way to see success is to fearlessly take messy action. So your success in this program, your success in your entire entrepreneurship journey is dependent on you taking consistent, messy action. Action takers are money makers. All of the most successful people in business, especially, like attribute their success to the fact that they get an idea, they get an inspiration, and they roll with it. And they've already made 3 or 4 mistakes and figured out how to do it better by the time the next person who has the idea but hesitated and did some research and thought about how to approach it even gets started, right? So that is the advantage of taking action, is that your mistakes and the things that you flub up along the way are going to get you further faster than sitting back and dipping a toe in the water and thinking about how to proceed or doing more research about how to proceed. You learn more from messy action than you do from hours and hours of research. So my question to you is, do you have the ability to take action consistently? Or do you have the intention of becoming this type of person? Can you consistently take action even when you're scared? Even when you don't feel ready? Even when you feel like an imposter, you feel like you don't know what you're doing? Even when the excitement wears off and you don't even really feel motivated anymore? You're kind of in the grind. You're like, holy cow, this is a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. And you know that you're in alignment with your mission, but it's just not like those juicy beginning exciting vibes anymore. Now it kind of feels like work. So even when you don't know what you're doing, can you still step in and figure out how to go live on Instagram? Can you just step in and not be afraid to be a beginner and not be afraid to demonstrate that it's powerful to be a fool, knowing that being a fool is the only way that you get to become a master? Even when no one is liking, no one is commenting, no one is signing up or reaching out, can you hold the frame? Can you hold the faith and the trust that you have received this mission, you have these interests, you have these callings for a reason, and that maybe there's a prove it period where you have to prove to the universe that I claim this. I claim this identity for myself. I claim this business for myself. I don't even need the validation of people commenting and liking my posts and my promotional materials. I don't even need people reaching out or signing up for me to go forward with this, because I feel so strongly that I am in my purpose and I'm doing what I'm meant to do. And I know that life supports that which supports life, and I am committed to showing up and supporting life. Even when life happens, shit happens, things fall apart, your schedule changes, are you still able to take action consistently, even if it's a tiny little step and that's all you have the space for, that's all you have the energy for? Or even if you need to take a break, are you able to assess, like, okay, I can't be where I want to be right now. I can't do what I want to do right now, but I'm setting the intention to schedule it. I'm setting the intention that 48 hours from now, after I've rested, after I've dealt with the logistics of my situation, after I've dealt with my relationships and the things that take priority, then I'm going to take action. Then I'm going to return to this mission. Even when you receive judgment or negative feedback, do you have the ability to tune in to your inner truth, to the wisdom that says, I'm not here for you? If you are reflecting negatively on what I'm doing and how I'm showing up, then this is my sign. This is your sign that you need to unfollow me, unsubscribe, and get the hell out of here, because I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for the people that it resonates with. Even when your friends and family don't understand what you're doing, they don't support you, they're kind of confused as to why you need to live your life in this way, can you continue to show up and hold that belief for yourself? Even when you feel like you're banging your head against a wall, not seeing results yet, can you still keep going? This is it. This is the secret to everything. This is what creates inevitable success in your business, in all areas of your life. And then we have a couple other things within this program that are going to make a difference for you. Asking questions. Before each coaching call, I want you to take some time to reflect on where you're at and challenge yourself to come up with a thoughtful question or two about anything that will serve you at this particular step in your journey. And if no questions come to mind, think of something that you want to get out of this call. And the invitation with this is really to practice showing up with intention in everything you do, knowing what you want to get out of something before you step into it so that you can get that result. Let's see, next one, asking for support. So I introed this a little bit earlier, but when you need support is going to be the moment you least feel like asking for it. So I want you to practice asking for support regularly, even when you feel pretty good and maybe you don't necessarily feel like you need to be supported in a big way. Ask for support in small ways. Ask for support regularly so that when that moment comes, when you really need it and you really don't want to ask for it, you're already comfortable with receiving help, receiving guidance. Ways that you can ask for support look like sharing your homework as it's in progress, requesting feedback in our coaching calls where we can workshop, share screens, hone in on messaging and just talk about the progress that you're making. Talking about what comes up for you when approaching your action items, like any resistance, any challenges, any excitement, anything at all, just sharing and being prepared to talk about where you're at. Because as you grow in your business, you will need to get help. You will need to hire, you will need to delegate and let other people support you in your mission. So I want you to start now so that that transition gets to be really easy in the future. And finally, schedule your homework. So each piece of homework within this program is really an essential piece of the puzzle that goes into creating the results that you're after. Put your homework and action items on your calendar, set reminders, schedule a block of time each day, ideally first thing in the morning, to sit down at least sit down and just make a plan. Make a plan of how you want to attack it, when you want to attack it, carve it up into bite-sized chunks so that you're just chipping away at it one step at a time. Because some pieces of homework, like the offer creation workbook, like that is a hefty piece of the puzzle. That is an essential piece of the puzzle. And there's a lot to dive in there that, could take you an hour or two. So prepare to have times in your schedule to tackle that and come up with a plan of attack. And the bottom line is really to take ownership for making the time that you need to get the results that you desire. Ownership is a big theme. And with that, let's talk about some of the roadblocks that you will undoubtedly encounter in this program within your business. Maybe you've seen some of these already. If you're brand new to business, these things are sure to pop up. So let's just bear it all and be super honest about what happens when you choose entrepreneurship as your path. It's intense. So what's inevitably going to come up is insecurity, self-doubt. You're going to be tempted to outsource your power and blame others, blame, people who aren't buying, blame the algorithm for not sharing your content, not getting you the reach that you're looking for. Perfectionism is going to come up. These are some of the subconscious protection mechanisms that we've installed long ago to make us feel safe. So perfectionism is going to try to prevent you from taking messy action. Perfectionism is that voice in your head that says, it's not safe. If I'm not perfect and if I don't look like an expert, if I don't have all the answers, it is not safe for me to show up, to post on social media, to talk about the things that I'm struggling with in our coaching calls. But the truth is, and you know this at heart, and I just want you to continue reminding yourself that safe is not where you want to be. Safe is stuck. Safe is in that comfort zone. Safe is not seeing the results that you desire to see in your business, not having the impact that you know you're here to make. Procrastination is another one of those things that's here to help you feel safe, and it's ultimately cock blocking you from your vision and where you want to be. Comparisonitis, looking at where someone else is at in their journey and feeling like, oh, why can't I be there right now? Like, why are they getting this success and I'm not? And we have some amplifiers that match up with each of these different roadblocks. So the antidote to insecurity and self-doubt is sovereignty, self-trust, trusting that you were given this mission for a reason. And even though you might doubt your ability to show up, your mission exists for a reason. You have these interests, you have these callings for a reason. Insecurity is really inviting you to step into that sovereignty of knowing what you want and claiming what you want and going after what you want. And stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for other people to come and anoint you and call you a business owner and tell you that you're successful. No, these are all the things that we get to claim for ourselves. The antidote to blame and outsourcing your power is radical ownership. Being really honest with yourself, where it's like, okay, if I'm not getting the reach that I want on social media, maybe it's me. Maybe there's some things that I can do differently. Maybe there's a difference between me and the people who do seem to get the reach, who do seem to have that engaged audience. And what can I do to show up in a way that's more in alignment with the results that I want while still being authentic and true to myself? Implementation is the antidote to perfectionism, and it's really the only way to get your perfectionism in remission. I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I always will be. This is something that I will always get to deal with. But the more I implement and the more that I take action, the quieter and quieter that voice telling me to be perfect seems to get. The antidote to comparisonitis is self-reflection and knowing that you are only in competition with who you were yesterday. And it is supremely unfair to compare your, year 1, year 2, year 3 to someone else's year 10, someone else's year 6. Everyone is on a different timeline. And even if you started at the exact same day as someone else and they got results before you did, Like there's a reason behind all of that. And life is always supporting you to learn the lessons that you need to learn. So if you don't get what you want, it's because you're getting what you need. And there's a lesson within that that you are being invited to learn and to implement in order to get to where you want to be. Because ultimately life, the universe, God, whatever you resonate with, like wants you to achieve your vision, but wants you to do it in a way that's in alignment, that's authentic, and wants you to come from this place of like real sovereignty, real embodied, I know who I am kind of energy, right? You're not here to create success according to anyone else's code but your own. And that's how you can be successful. Now let's get into the personal success codes and what this gets to look like for you personally. Because self-understanding is key to self-mastery, and self-mastery is essential for success. Let's dive in. So we're going to explore cycle syncing. We're going to explore numerology. We're going to explore astrology and human design. And like I said, we're going over each of these topics in a very introduction kind of way, because these are massive topics to fully excavate. But the invitation is going to be to explore these on your own time as well. Before we move on, though, I just want to check in and make sure that everyone is doing good. There aren't any questions coming up around the success codes for the program and in your business. How is everything sounding so far?
It sounds really interesting. I don't really know much about any one of these, so I'm excited because I am a beginner. And like, so the beginner mindset is definitely switched on. And I love like what you've already sent out about some of these things. I don't know a lot about cycle syncing, but like it keeps coming up on my feed. I keep hearing it. So it's like this little voice that like keeps, and I'm excited because I feel like here I'm going to actually like have the opportunity to dive deeper with that and own that. Yeah, that's something I'm really interested in. So I'm so happy it's part of this program.
Amazing.
Yeah, same.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, that's like number one thing of all of these personal success codes. I think the cycle syncing is the most important place to start. So let's dive right into that, because I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about your cycle, quick and dirty, and how to apply cycle syncing in a really practical, tangible way for your life, for your business, and just, yeah, coming from that place of my body is leading the way and I'm not fighting with my energy anymore. So it really comes down to like managing your calendar and kind of scheduling things in sync with where your cycle is at. So the first thing that you need to know is that there are 4 phases of your cycle, just like there are 4 seasons in the year and there are 4 phases of the moon. Us as feminine creatures, like we're just really in tune with the natural cycles of the earth, of the cosmos, of the moon. So the first phase is the follicular phase, which is known as inner spring. And this happens like right as soon as you stop bleeding, you're entering the follicular phase of your cycle. And all of these like different hormones govern different phases. Certain hormones are rising and falling throughout the entire cycle. And follicular phase is like kind of when testosterone is coming back online. And testosterone is all about focus. It's all about like energy, getting shit done, feeling inspired. So as you come out of winter into inner spring, you are going to have all of these ideas. You're going to want to start planning. This is also your powerhouse phase where, like I said, you have that focus, you have that energy. It's like time to get shit done, spring cleaning kind of vibes. You know, if we think about it in seasonal terms, it's like you're coming out of winter, everything feels alive again, everything feels possible again, everything feels optimistic, and it's just a really fun time, right? Everything is new and fresh in your uterus and in your body and in your mindset as well. So planning are aligned, like that is an aligned task to start planning things. Offer creation is really aligned with the follicular phase. Getting inspired, planning content, building out sales pages. I shared on Instagram a month or 2 back about how I knocked out my sales page in like 48 hours because I started that project in my powerhouse days 8, 9, and 10 of my cycle. And I just had insane focus. So I was able to get that done, not having a background in web design, not really knowing my way around the platform. I started using Flowdesk for the very first time and was just amazed at my ability to sit down and bust shit out because I had that testosterone flowing. I had the energy and focus. Ovulation, inner summer. Oh, we love summer. It feels so good because you want to get outside, you want to hang out, you want to be visible, you feel sexy, you feel juicy, you feel magnetic, you're ready to be social, you want to have fun. Just such good vibes in the ovulation phase. And this is also like when you are at your most magnetic, right? So this is a great time to be visible. This is a great time to show up, do live streams, post content, take photos of yourself. This is where I really recommend like batching some of the creative sort of content that you would share on social media, for instance, like taking pictures when you feel hot and you feel sexy, filming videos, talking about concepts, and just batching all of that content when you feel good so that you have that and you can post it during the other times where you don't feel as good. You don't feel quite so sexy and juicy. The luteal phase is inner fall. And this is a great time to just tie up loose ends. You know, we're kind of battening down the hatches. We're getting ready for winter. The energy is very like slowing down. Energy is decreasing. Appetite is increasing. We're going to feel really snacky. We're going to want to munch on the chocolate bars and the salty chips. And that's all like good and aligned. It's a really good time to kind of complete tasks, to wrap up tasks. If you've been like planning your content in the ovulation phase, luteal phase would be a good time to write the copy and get the copy already that goes with the creative photos or videos and just kind of get everything planned out and finalized. It's a good time to track finances, to track client progress, and just kind of take stock of where everything is at in the business and just close the chapter. Just kind of put everything to bed, tuck it in so it's nice and cozy and ready for menstruation, the inner winter, where you are resting, you are reflecting, you are recharging. Like the only real task at this time is like to do some journaling, you know, to sip your tea, to just kind of reflect on where you're at, to rest, to sleep a lot, to take naps, to take hot baths. And the invitation is to fully embrace the rest cycle to get even more inspiration and energy as you enter spring once again. So I cannot like emphasize this enough. The deeper that you allow yourself to go in the rest phase, and really like maybe the last couple days of your cycle into the first couple days of your bleed would be like the heaviest period of rest, maybe like 4 days within there. Everyone's cycle is slightly different. But the more that you can just slow down, clear the calendar, and just give yourself time to be, the more like, holy cow, you're going to feel amazing and energized and just ready to go as you're coming out of that cycle. Let's make this a little bit more granular. So on your to-do list is to track your cycle. If you don't currently have an app that you're using and loving for that, I highly recommend the Stardust app. And I don't let many of my apps send me push notifications, but this is one that I do. And I like to get those daily energy updates to just check in. And this is like the best way to start to track your cycle and start to compare how you're feeling in your body with like what the app says you could be experiencing depending on what day of your cycle it is. Because, you know, maybe things aren't necessarily true for you. Like the app could give you an update one day where it's like, you know, stay in bed, cancel all appointments, you have zero energy, take this time to yourself. And maybe you're like, actually, I could go out right now. And my friend invited me to coffee. So, and that feels good. So that's what I'm going to do. And you're like, okay, I'm on day 6 of my cycle. So I'm kind of just keeping track. And now I know that, you know, this is what's true for me. So you're always just kind of comparing with like the energy updates to where you're actually at. And the second invitation here is to put your cycle on your calendar so you can be strategic with when you are scheduling the most aligned activities and tasks. And I have a screenshot that I'll share with you in the next slide to just fully illustrate that. And the periods of time that I recommend scheduling and putting on your calendar so that as things come up, as you're scheduling homework for this program, as you're scheduling action items in your business, as you're looking at scheduling calls, doing client work, things like that, you can just be mindful of where your energy is typically going to be at on these days. So days 8 through 10 are your powerhouse days. This is like follicular phase, testosterone, energy and focus. This is where you want to put your most energy intensive tasks that allow you to just feel so good about the progress that you're making as it relates to your business. So like creating those offers, building out sales pages, coming up with marketing plans, just these really kind of massive projects that you need the energy and you need the focus to be able to knock things out. Otherwise, like if you're trying to do it in your luteal phase, in your menstrual phase, you're just going to feel so down on yourself for not being able to focus. You're going to be like, what is wrong with me? Like, how come I can't actually do this? You're going to make yourself bad. You're going to make yourself wrong when really like your energy is not aligned for that activity at that point in time. Days 11 through 15 are your magic and miracles days when you are ovulating and you are sexy and you are magnetic. And this is a great time to like schedule sales calls, schedule one-on-one calls or one-to-many calls, networking events, going live, being visible, like I said, creating content, those kinds of things. And then days 27. So I'm on a 27-day cycle. I know 28 is like the typical, but like I said, everybody's cycle is slightly different. So as you're tracking your cycle, you'll get familiar with the length of your cycle. So I know that like the last day of my cycle to the first 4, like that 5-day window is really low energy, like do not disturb. I'm not really trying to do anything in the business. I'm not trying to show up in a way that requires me to be high energy and bubbly. And every cycle is a little bit different. This is just kind of general, right? And what that looks like on the calendar. So I have a screenshot of my month in February. And what I want to draw your attention to is the big red bar, which is my bleed period, the powerhouse days here, and then the magic and miracles following. And those are the things that I recommend you get on your calendar. And the way that you plug that in is just by looking at the Stardust app. So this is a screenshot of the app. This is today, actually. I just threw this up there. So I'm just starting my luteal phase. And I was strategic with this launch because I wanted to be in my magic and miracles feel good period as I was like coming down the end of this launch period, right? Knowing that as I was opening the program, I didn't necessarily need to be so high energy, so feel good. But definitely that last week of the launch, I wanted to be just feeling excited, feeling abundant, feeling positive, all those things. So, we're looking at day 18 of my 27-day cycle, knowing that today is the 23rd. So you just go to your calendar and you find, okay, when's the first day of my cycle going to be? Maybe it's 4 days, maybe it's 5 days, maybe it's 6 days that you're bleeding, whatever that looks like, and then block out those days. And then you'll have that period reoccur every 28 days so that you can see the next day again is March 1st in there. And I can go in and adjust this as like, days shift and my period changes a little bit. But when you have that, set it to repeat every 28 days or every 27 days, in my case, like I have my whole year with my period on it, with my ovulation, with my powerhouse days, like my entire year is mapped out in this way so that as I start putting things on the calendar for February, as I start putting things on the calendar for March, I can be strategic and be like, okay, when do I want to approach this task? When do I want to plan my launches? When do I want to, be prepared to rest and not do anything too intensive, right? Okay. So let me just pop over here.
Just
Just
really
wanna-
quick, Michael, I just wanted to
Yeah.
just like ask you while it's like fresh and on the page, what do you think like are the other benefits of, because I just went on like while we were while you were just sharing this and downloaded the app. Like what are the other benefits other than just like getting those days on that you would say that this app gives you?
Just the energy updates, the daily kind of reminders. So I
Okay.
think it's out for me around like 9 a.m. every day. And there's a paid version of the app that I don't use. I just use the free version because they have a couple other like astrological, lunar kind of insights in there as well. But yeah, just the free version is plenty because all I really want to know is be reminded like what day am I at in my cycle day to day.
Okay. That's really cool. Yeah, I just downloaded it. I don't know if you can see my screen, but I just downloaded it right now. It says I'm on day 17 of 28. Or did you say you're on day 17?
I'm on day 18. Look at that. We're synced
That's
up.
so funny. Oh my God. Cycle Sisters. Here we go. That's hilarious. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I just, because like, I was like, all right, it's fresh in my brain. I'm just going to download it right now. And
Yeah.
that's so cool. I always track it like on my calendar, like, but I just do the day of my first period because like they always, you know, if they ask the doctor or something like that, I just want to know. And also
Right.
want to know like, kind of, I guess a guesstimate of like when I'm ovulating. I'm like, all right, maybe no sexy time then.
Right.
Just out of abundance of caution.
Yeah, originally I started putting like the powerhouse days and the magic and miracles days on my calendar because it just felt kind of depressing to have my big red bar there where it was like, warning, warning, this is coming, look out.
Right.
And I thought it sounded way more fun to like also plan for the positive aspects of having a cycle because it's not all bad, not by a long shot.
No, and when you start embracing it, like you're farther along in like this obviously than my journey would be with this, but like I sometimes feel that like because I never stop teaching, but like on weeks when I do my period or leading up to it, it's just like that draining feeling and like not like wanting to do classes and stuff, and then I get down because I'm like I made it to the studio, I should do like as many classes as I possibly can, but like really the message that not only you've been saying and that I've been hearing from others, like especially people that work out a lot, is like to not do high energy workouts, to go to different classes like a restore class that's like more yin, slow movements, and not do like things where you're like toppling up and down and stuff like that because it's like not what your body needs at that stage. So I'm really interested in this from like the workout from a lot of perspectives, but definitely because my like one of my main jobs is a fitness instructor, so I like have to kind of be on that.
Yeah, totally. And I think that makes so much sense from the fitness and energy management perspective because like you need the rest cycles to allow your muscles to repair to then grow more, and like that's all part of it. So knowing that you have your weekly classes, but maybe there's different adaptations that you can make to the class flow or like what that looks like during different cycles would be an invitation. Yeah.
What's the app called again?
It's called Stardust.
I just downloaded it, Han. It's so easy to set up.
Okay,
You just need to know the first day of your last period, and then it starts.
Those wavy lines, like against the back there, those are the hormone cycles that they're tracking. So you can tap on each different one of those colors to see which hormone is like at play in your body, if you're interested in like the biology and kind of the science behind it a little bit. So that information is there as well. Yeah.
I actually have to hop off.
Mhm.
So I will just mark what minute are we at right now on this call? Does it show you in your recording? Because then I'll make sure and just finish it.
Because now it's 4:03, so we should be like an hour and 3 minutes in. About.
Yeah, just about.
Like an hour in. Okay,
probably an
cool.
hour in.
Awesome. Yep. It's 8 p.m. here, and I've been working all day, and I need to go eat dinner, so I'm gonna head off.
Absolutely.
But so much love. Thank you again so much, Michael. And I am looking forward to finishing this later. But I will see you guys on Monday.
Sounds
Bye,
great.
Han.
I love.
Enjoy dinner.
Bye.
Awesome.
And then there were two. I don't know if your friend's not here. I don't know where she went.
No. Let me just see if she sent me a message, but yeah, she said she had something come up, but not a big deal. I'm sure she'll catch up with it. She's going to be there for the coaching call on Tuesday anyway, so we got that. But okay, so we just have numerology, a little astrology dive, and then human design to cover before we're wrapped up. Before we dive into that, I'm just curious, like how your purpose reading landed with the North nodes and things like that. Was that illuminating? Was that helpful?
I thought it was really helpful and like insightful for like some things that have like again been churning my brain because I have a scatterbrain. And so when I saw that like certain things that I had been thinking about like on that, I was like, okay, wow. Whereas like sometimes I can go off in a lot of different directions. I'm trying to think of like one specific example, but like even with relationships, because that's kind of the forefront of my brain right now. Like one of the points was like your ideal partner is like someone that you explore and travel with and something like that, where it's like that is really important to me, but then to see it almost like validated some of the feelings inside of me, because I was like, oh wait, is this like just something that like everyone loves to travel, like of course, but like seeing it there made it feel more real that like, okay, no, that is something I'm very deeply connected to. And that like, because whenever I meet someone, like whenever I was kind of dating before I met Zach, and someone would like the guy that I've like most recently dated before him, he has 2 children. He has no desire to travel anywhere but the United States. And when he said all these things, it was like, I just felt like I was shutting down. Like, cause he was like, yeah, I don't see myself ever traveling for more than a week. I only want to travel in the United States. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, no, like, no, and no. Whereas with Zach, like we talk about travel like every day essentially. And it's like really inspiring, even when our travels aren't aligned with one another. And that was just one example of the many things that I learned from that sharing. But like, yeah, that was one that like really, I don't know, kind of got sent home to like my heart.
Epic. Yeah. I love that it's just kind of like a big old permission slip, I feel like, because you know these things about yourself, but sometimes you kind of question, you're like, is this valid? Is my way of doing things valid? And then when you get that reflection, it's like, no, this is like aligned. This is your purpose. This is how you need to show up to be in your best energy, to like maximize your relationships. It's just like, oh, okay. Whew.
Yeah, I kind of want to bring it up again while we're talking right now, just so I can like see it. What would the email be titled? Was it numerology?
It was soul purpose reading.
Soul purpose. Oh yeah, here we go. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have mine pulled up. First of all, you did it like it's so amazing. It feels so personal, but like digestible at the same time. And yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow because I think you and I will get to dive deeper with that. I definitely have a few questions kind of surrounding it. But yeah, so it said like in love, surround yourself with friends from all over the world, which like, again, just reading that made me reach out to like 5 people that like were long distance friends of mine that I hadn't reached out to in a while, that I was like, oh, let me reach out to those people. Like, let me just do a little quick check-in, see how they're doing, see how their year's starting. It felt like really organic and natural to do. And it said passion and love first, don't get caught up in the nitty-gritty or intellect. I already have noticed myself doing that. That's this in the start of this year. So like it's just like things like that where I'm like and like, but it's more self-awareness because like I do get caught up in the nitty-gritty, and like I have had things come up because now like I don't know, I'm exploring a relationship for the first time in like 5 years, and I don't know, those feelings of like jealousy and insecurity came right back very quickly, way quicker than I thought they would, and like navigating through those, and like also recognizing the part that I play in it too, because like I'm obviously have brought up things for Zach already that like he's not super stoked on either. So.
Mm-hmm. But doing it all with this awareness is
right.
Yeah, you're not going to be blindsided because you already like see what's happening and know what's going on, and you can navigate from that place powerfully.
Yeah. So cool.
Love that. Oh, awesome. I can't wait for a deep dive. That's going to be great.
Yeah, there's definitely some things I want to dive deeper with you for sure.
Perfect. Okay, numerology, I would say, and I know we talked about this a little bit in our little mastermind call as well, just identifying the personal year numbers, talking a little bit about life path numbers. I don't think numerology is like the end all be all, which is why I definitely started with cycle syncing. I just think it's kind of interesting to look into and just kind of have these overarching themes in mind. So the key numbers to look at, there are like a lot of different numbers in your numerology chart. And the app that I'm sharing screenshots of is called Numerology. So if you want to dive deeper and look at all of these things in more depth, definitely check that out. Free app. But the life path number really indicates like what kind of path that you're on in this life, or what kind of energies you are working with and meant to bring to fruition. So for example, on the right hand side of the screen where it says life path 4 with kind of the purple theme, that's my life path number. And the first time that I heard that, I was kind of like, oh, gross. I don't want to be a life path 4. Like, this sounds awful. Because the way it's framed, it's like 4s are very masculine. They're very self-disciplined. They're very stable. They're pillars of society. And when I first learned about numerology, I was very much in a travel and adventure and expansion and living off the cuff and by the seat of my pants and just ready for anything kind of phase. So it didn't feel aligned at that point in time. But as I've grown older and like kind of recognized what becomes important to me as I age, it's like, yes, okay, building systems, foundations, being practical, and like building systems, especially in my business for sure, are huge priorities for me. So the life path number might not necessarily resonate with where you're at right now, but it's just kind of the energy that your life is going to follow. And this app also has the calculation for that. So it's done based on your birth date, adding up the digits of the month, the day, and the year, and then reducing those to a single numerical value. So when you add up the month, the day, and the year, you'll typically get like a 2-digit number. Like for example, mine ends up being 31. And then you add those together again, 3 + 1 is 4, and that's how you get the reduction there. A couple other interesting things to look at in terms of planning, maybe for your business, for your life, or just seeing what kind of the overarching themes are going to be, is like a personal year number. So this is like the blue tinted screenshot where it's a forecast cycle. So the personal year number is calculated by looking at the current year and your birth month and your birth date and reducing that down. Okay, I have this on monthly, but I know that I'm in a personal year 7. So how that works out for me is being in like a very spiritual, like reflective year, really honing in on my gifts and what I'm here to do, tapping into spiritual practices, things like that. And then the personal month number is also interesting to look at as you're navigating within the year and within your business. So January for me is a month 8. And each of the different numbers have personality characteristics to them, which you can also get into within the app as well. But briefly, 1 is independent, it's a leader, it's the first number, right? So there's like the spirit of assertiveness and action taking. 2 is a pair, so there's a real emphasis on partnership, collaboration, diplomacy with number 2. 3 is a creative number. 4, you think of balance, 4 directions, 4 seasons. 5 is very explorative, adventure seeking. 6 is like nurturing. 7 is spiritual. 8 is like a material number, and also like it's the infinity sign, which is how I associate it with abundance and money and things like that. And 9 is like the number of completion. So things coming to an end, reflection, taking time and space to just close chapters intentionally. So 9s can be very intense because it is like the culmination of all the previous years coming into that year, that number 9. When you're in a 9 cycle year, oftentimes those can be intense. Yeah, that is a brief little overview of numerology. Like I said, the app is numerology. If you want to dive into this even further and get some more personalized insights for yourself, definitely check that out. Again, it can be very validating to just kind of hear these things that you kind of already know. Now I want to dive into astrology, quick and dirty overview of the houses, the archetypes, and the planets. And the app that I took this screenshot from is called The Pattern. This is like my go-to astrology app. So astrology, I would say, is like what I am, like this is my main area of focus within numerology, within human design, within astrology. Astrology is the one that I am feeling called to most, and will certainly be doing an astrology certificate in the near future. I've developed the soul purpose readings based on the North and South node polarity, because this is like really the key to unlocking the direction of your life and stepping into your purpose, stepping into abundance as denoted by the heavens, as denoted by your birth and your star chart. But when it comes to just understanding what's going on in the chart, there are three main things to look at. And the first is the houses. So there are 12 houses in an astrological chart, and you can see the house numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, on and around to 12. Here are the house numbers. There are the archetypes. These are the zodiac signs, and you can see each of these signs being located within a certain house. These signs are along the outside of the wheel of your chart. And then you have planets like the moon, the sun, Venus, Mars, Saturn, Neptune, Mercury, all of that. And these are the symbols within the wheel of the chart. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of what each of these different houses indicate, which each of the different signs indicate, and what each of the different planets indicate. And the reason I'm doing this, the reason I'm giving you this general overview of how to look at your own chart, is because as we go through this program, I'm going to be dropping little nuggets where you can get some incredible insights about how you're meant to show up in business, like how your personal branding is meant to express itself, like from looking at your chart. And I have some awesome prompts that you can plug into ChatGPT to get an entire breakdown of like what your most aligned personal branding can look like based on the archetype and the house of your midheaven, which isn't a planet, but it's a mathematically calculated point in your chart, much like the North and South nodes. So that's why we're doing this overview, just so you have this general understanding before throughout the program we dive in and we make it tangible and we make it applicable to you and your business. So houses are the where. These are the life areas. And like we said, the chart is divided into 12 houses, each representing a specific area of life. And these are all determined by your birth time and location. So the first house is all about the self, the identity, and the first impressions. And this is also where your ascendant or rising sign comes from. The second house deals with money, possessions, self-worth, values. The third house is all about communication, learning, siblings, local environment. And this is just a brief synopsis. Like there's so much more that we could go into in each of these different areas, but just to give you a general sense of the houses. The fourth house is all about home, family, roots, emotional security. And a little bit of an example here, my North Node is in the fourth house, which means that my path to abundance, my path to alignment in this life comes from really anchoring into a sense of home, and being a nurturer and caring for my family, caring for my home and my location and the people that I live with, the animals that I live with, taking care of these possessions first before like building the business. And when I first learned this, it was very relieving, honestly, because I always felt like this competing, like, okay, do I need to be spending time working on my business? Do I need to be spend time taking care of the house and like doing laundry and cleaning up and these things that like every time I do step into that nurturing role in the home, it feels really good. But then I had that that concern, like, okay, I'm spending too much time over here. I need to be working on my business. But when I'm working on my business, I'm thinking about the fact that there's dirty laundry and things that need to be done. So learning that my North Node was in the 4th house was really relieving to know that I get to make this a priority and this gets to serve my business indirectly, because it's putting me in that calm nervous system, that state that is like my most powerful state to be in when I show up for the business. Okay, 5th house, creativity, children, romance, joy, self-expression. 6th house deals with work, daily routines, health, service, discipline. 7th house is all about relationships, partnerships, and even contracts. So the descendant in your chart is the sign directly opposite from your ascendant, and also like that part of your chart is going to indicate what kind of aligned partnerships, like what aligned partnerships are going to look like for you. The 8th house is really powerful. This deals with transformation, intimacy, shared resources, like themes of rebirth. The 9th house is all about travel, higher education, philosophy, spiritual growth. 10th house deals with career. So we'll be looking at this quite a bit as we look into specific insights around the business and how that pertains to the chart. So your career, your reputation, your public image, your ambitions, this is where the midheaven is housed as well. The 10th house deals with community, friendships, social causes, innovation. The 12th house deals with themes of the subconscious, spirituality, endings, solitude, kind of like the deeper nuances and the shadow parts of life as well. Okay.
I have a question really quick. What if you don't have something in a house? Like, what does that mean?
So are you saying like if you wouldn't have a planet?
Like, I don't have like here, I'm looking at my chart because I have, what's it called? CoStar. And so I just pulled it up, and it's like I have something in the 1st, 2nd, 5th, 6th, and 8th houses, but I don't have anything in anything else. And I have like, it's so strong with just Capricorn and Scorpio. Like I barely have anything anywhere else other than the Cancer, which is like the opposite of my sign. So that's the ascendant, and then Leo and Moon. But other than that, like it's all literally just Scorpio and Capricorn.
Yeah, I remember that from your chart. You had so much Capricorn energy. So each house has an archetype or a sign associated with it.
Okay.
So you'll see the signs and the archetypes around the outside of the chart. So every house is going to have that associated energy, that associated flavor with it. So for example, like my 1st house is in Leo ascendant. So like the flavor of my identity and self-concept is very like creative, it's charismatic, it's bold, it's confident, it's like Leo energy, right? Which is like the creative kind of, it's the creative and like enjoys attention, enjoys like performance. So it's like performance creative. Tell me about a house where you don't, so what you're talking about is not having planets in certain houses.
Yeah, so I'm just like I'm like, why I'm guessing just like, why do I have one? I have the 1st, 2nd, 5th, 6th, and 8th houses, but like with those other ones that aren't mentioned, yeah, I guess it's something we can dive deeper, because I know that this transcript is for everybody, so I don't want to like hog up that with this, but like it's just a little confusing to me.
Yeah. Planets are kind of amplifying the energies of those houses,
Okay.
but the whole thing is like a reflection of, so like what was one of the houses that you didn't have any planets in?
The 3rd or the 7th.
Oops, go forward. Okay, so the 3rd house deals with creativity, right? Or no, that's the 5th, sorry, communication, learning, local environment. And do you see a sign around, like on the outside of the 3rd house?
When I look at the houses, so I'm looking at my circle right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I go back to the table, it's not showing any signs associated with it, but I'm wondering if there's a sign that like maybe is it, and then I can like decipher it more from then whatever that planet's kind of assigned to.
Yeah, I don't love CoStar because I feel like it's not super user friendly. Okay, so if I go back to this slide, you can see where the breakdown is. So like, okay, so the 11th house for me is a house that I don't have any planets in, and it's ruled by, if we go over here, Gemini. We see the key here where that's the sign for Gemini. So if we're looking at the energy of the 11th house, that's community, friendships, social causes, innovation. That means the flavor of my friendships, the flavor of my communication is going to be like this Gemini energy, curious, communicative, versatile, as opposed to like if I had Taurus in the 11th house, that would mean that the flavor of my community, my friendships would be like stable, grounded, sensual even. Is that making sense?
Yeah, that is making sense. What's the name of your app again? The one that you use for this?
The pattern.
The pattern. All right, I'm going to download that because it definitely looks like it dives deeper. I like the daily updates from CoStar.
Mm-hmm.
But other than it's just like something that it doesn't need to be. So I'm going to get the flavor. It's just called the flavor?
Oh, it's called the pattern.
Oh, sorry, the pattern. Oh my God, why did I?
Saying the flavor.
Yeah, it's been a long day. Okay.
Right.
The pattern. Okay, I'm downloading that right now. And that way I'm excited to do that because then I'll have more understanding for tomorrow's meeting. So I'm excited for that.
Totally. Yeah, you'll have so much to dive into there. So yeah, the houses are the where, like what part of your life is concerned? Like, are we talking about, splitting your life into like 12 different sort of separate areas? And those are what the houses denote. And then the archetypes. So like each house and each planet is going to be filtered through this energy of the sign, the archetypes. And this is what I mean when I say it's giving it its flavor. And if I just go forward just a second to talk about the planets, this is like the what of what's going on in your chart. So, sun deals with core identity, ego, life purpose. Moon is all about emotions, things like that. So that is the what. So like moon, for instance, being like your moon being in a certain archetype is going to like talk about how your emotions get presented. So your emotions could present through Pisces, they could present through Aquarius, Capricorn, and each of these different archetypes are going to give your emotion being characterized by the moon placement. It's going to present differently. So the sun archetype is the one that typically everybody knows. They know what their sun sign is because that's, pretty readily available information. The sun only moves into different houses, different signs, like on a really, stable basis. It's in each sign for 20 days or something. So it's pretty easy to keep track of that way. So when someone says like, I'm an Aries, it's like, well, yes, but that's only one aspect of your chart and of your entire like snapshot of your composition, right? So just an overview of the different signs. When we're talking about Aries, we're talking about the first, right? So kind of as it relates to numerology as well, the first sign is this bold, pioneering, assertive, and impulsive sign. It's ruled by Mars. Taurus is stable, sensual, grounded. It's ruled by Venus. Taurus can also be very stubborn. Gemini is very curious, very communicative. It's versatile. It's the twins. So it's the idea of having like these different faces and kind of different ways of presenting yourself and being fluid in that sense. Cancer is very nurturing. It's very emotional and it's very intuitive, also ruled by the moon. Leo, like I was talking about, is my ascendant. It's confident, it's creative, it's dramatic, it's bringing that sun energy. Virgo is practical, it's analytical, perfectionist. And each of these signs, they have strengths and they have weaknesses because you can't have one without the other. Libra, harmonious, social, diplomatic, also ruled by Venus. Scorpio is like intense, transformative, secretive. Scorpio is all about like the transformative nature of death and rebirth cycles and kind of the taboo of the human experience. That's where Scorpio thrives. And the sign of my North Node is actually in Scorpio. Sagittarius is adventurous, philosophical, optimistic. Capricorn, disciplined, ambitious, structured, which like I loved seeing all of that Capricorn energy in your chart, Hunter, and then like seeing the name of your business being structured by Hunter.
It's hilarious. I can't even believe that. Like when you like that was the first thing I just noticed too, because it feels, and because I'm so dominantly like a Capricorn through and through. I obviously have other things sprinkled in there, but like it's pretty, when you look at the chart, when you look at like the circle, it's like all in literally one area. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I just love seeing the ways that this like comes out, you know, because it is you. And it's not about like telling you who you are. It's about like giving articulation and words to these things that you already know and understand about yourself. And then, so Aquarius is like the rebel. Aquarius is innovative. They're humanitarian, so they want to shake things up. They're kind of a revolutionary sort of influence, but ultimately, like they have a servant heart, so they want to do things differently, but for the sake of helping others and switching up the status quo. And then Pisces is the last, compassionate, dreamy, very spiritual, ruled by Neptune. So most like intuitives, psychics will have like a Pisces energy in their chart. And then rounding it out with the planets. So this is like the what of like what is going on in your different houses, like in the areas of your life. What energies are represented, like what aspects of your psyche or life themes. And like these are going to be categorized by the flavor of the archetype, right? So there's just layers to it all. And the sun is your core identity, it's your ego, it's really your life purpose as well. The moon, emotions, inner world, intuition, Mercury is the planet of communication, intellect, learning. So, you know, when they say Mercury is in retrograde, that's typically like characterized by a breakdown in communication or misunderstanding or technology kind of being on the fritz because like the lines of communication are just a little bit wobbly. And retrogrades really just have to do with like the perception of the planets and when it looks like they're traveling backwards because of their relationship to the earth. Not that they actually are traveling backwards, but that's how it appears in our sky. Kind of a weird concept to get into, but that's just a little bit of an aside. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, values, relationships. Mars is all about action, drive, your ambition, your assertiveness, and is also like how anger can manifest. So Mars, you know, a lot of power comes from anger. And so that's why anger and that expression is also characterized by Mars and how like it might come out when you're feeling fiery, when you're feeling angry. Like looking at the sign that's ruling your Mars can tell you a lot about how you process anger and what that looks like for you. Jupiter, being the biggest planet, is all about expansion, luck, growth, wisdom. So if you're looking to grow, you can look at, you know, the archetype of your Jupiter or like the certain area in your life, the house that it's in. You know, when you're looking to expand, this can be like very beneficial to just get really clear on what that can look like for you and where you can focus your energies and intentions. Saturn is all about discipline, responsibility, boundaries, karma. Uranus is innovation, rebellion, sudden changes. Neptune is dreams, spirituality, illusion, creativity. And then Pluto is all about power, transformation, rebirth, like big Scorpio vibes here. And when we put it all together, we're looking at planets being the what kind of energy is happening, signs being the how, like how is that energy expressing itself through the archetypes, and houses being the where, so where this energy shows up in your life. So this is just a random example, but if if someone has Mars in Aries in the 7th house, being the area of relationships, that could mean that you are assertive, you are competitive, and possibly even combative in partnerships. Just to kind of like put that all together as an example. How is that all landing?
I'm just so excited to dive deeper. Like I know so little, and like what is so exciting to me is like how much more I get to kind of explore all this, because like I just take kind of like my surface level little co-star snippets from the day, and I like the kind of do's and don'ts. And sometimes I'll do it at like I'll look at it at the end of the day and I'm like, oh my God, like that's really funny that just shared that. But no, I'm excited because like again, there's so much more to dive deeper with this, and like with relationships, even with relationships like with certain people in my life that I feel like are really easy ones and really so fun to navigate, and ones that are more challenging. Like I'm just curious about like how these things all line up.
Yeah, that's what I love about the pattern as well, is you can put other people's details in there and then you can kind of get insights, and they don't just give you like blanket, like you're compatible with this friend and you're not compatible with this friend. They just give you like kind of insights on where like there might be friction, where there might be like really strong alignment, and the different ways that your charts kind of overlap and interact with one another. So that part's really fun as well.
Was that really interesting for you to do with you and your boyfriend? Like, and like what kind of you guys have compatibility with?
Yes. One of the things that I loved seeing, and just made complete sense, was that our north nodes were both in the 4th house. So like our soul expression, our purpose comes through in just like both of us having this strong desire and inclination to like create a happy home together, you know? And like we have other areas of our charts that are more like, I want to say like there's friction like in certain areas, and then like there's other areas that are aligned, but knowing that like the north node, like where we're headed, where we're both headed, is like in this same area. And how my north node presents is through Scorpio, so bringing some of the deeper transformative aspects of life, and like infusing the emotional, like the death and rebirth, and like getting to the depths of what's going on. And his manifest is Capricorn, being very practical, being very structured, and like going at things in a practical way, I feel like is really aligned, because like mine is giving intense feminine energy and his is giving intense masculine energy. And you know, when we're each looking for a strong masculine partner or strong feminine partner, like those aspects just fit together really nicely. So that kind of stuff is fun to look at.
Yeah, I'm so interested to see, like I want to like plug in, I don't know when Zach was born, but I'm really interested to look at, because he's a Cancer and he like is very dominant in the Cancer thing, and I'm very dominant in the Capricorn. So it's really interesting because we're really like yin and yang, to see how this all kind of computes itself, I guess.
Ooh, that's fascinating. I can't wait to learn more about that too.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome. Okay, the last piece I have to share is around human design. And let me just say, human design is like an entire can of worms. If you've never looked into it, there is so much to explore, and I definitely recommend exploring it. But the only 3 things that I would recommend to look at to start with, because like, okay, so it's giving you this whole chart, and even like after looking into all of this stuff pretty extensively, I'm not quite in a position to even look at this chart and tell you exactly what's happening here. So I'm not even going to try. But the important like things to take note of is your energy type, like how your energy functions, your authority, which gets at how you make the best decisions, and then your strategy, so how you make things happen, how you manifest or materialize your dreams into reality. And you can look up your chart. It's the same way to get your astrological chart. So you need your birthday, your time and place. And the app that I recommend looking at is My Human Design. It's just very aesthetic. It's very pleasing to look at. And it really, for as much information as this gives you, it puts it in a really clear way. So looking at your energy type, there's 5 energy types. There's generators, there's manifestors, there's projectors, there's reflectors, and there's manifesting generators. And what this gets at is like how your energy cycles. So quick example, I'm a manifesting generator, which is like very multi-passionate. I get excited about things and I'm designed to follow that excitement. I'm designed to take action quickly. Whereas someone like a projector is like really encouraged to lean into more of rest cycles, and they're not getting hits of inspiration all the time. Generators, manifesting generators, we like those types are self-sourcing energy constantly. So like it doesn't take much for us to feel really excited and really charged up and ready to go. Whereas like projectors, for instance, have to really protect their energy. And one thing that I thought was really interesting when I was looking into it is that like naps are like the key to success for projectors. So that 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock afternoon, 20-minute power nap is like what a projector needs to really function at their best, which is really interesting. And then when we're looking at authority, so this will be in like the descriptive breakdown, this gets at how you make the best decisions. And I'm not 100% confident on how many authorities there are. I know there is a sacral authority, there's an emotional authority, there's a splenic authority. And this is really like getting at your framework for making decisions. Like I said, look this up, read into it for yourself. But I know that I'm an emotional authority, hey, which means that I make decisions by allowing my emotions to like run the full cyclical gamut. So I'm an emotional, like in the chart. And being an emotional authority means that in order to make the best decisions, I need to ride the highs, I need to ride the lows. And when I come back into neutral, that's where I can trust my like intuition. That's where I can trust myself to be in the space to make the best decisions. Because if I'm at a low and I'm asked to make a decision from that space, it's not going to be the best space for me to make that decision. If I'm riding a high, also not going to be the best space for me to make that decision. The sacral authority is like the gut authority, and sacral authorities have this gift of being able to just know their yeses, know their nos, and make decisions from the gut intuitively, like in the moment. So generators always know like whether they trust their intuition, whether they trust their authority or not. Like that decision is always going to be felt as it's even like a verbal, like a uh-huh or a mm-mm. Like you're gonna feel that as soon as the question gets asked. You're gonna feel that decision, and you're designed to make decisions like that in the moment, trusting your initial reaction. And then the strategy gets at how you make things happen. And I know that there are informers, there are responders, there are 2 or 3 other types of strategies. I'm new to human design, but I think it's fascinating, which is why I wanted to give a little intro here. And the strategy for me is responding. So how I make things happen is either responding to invitations that other people make of me, responding to my own inspiration, responding to just things that come up. And it's like, okay, this is either a yes or this is either a no. So I'm just constantly intended to be in that leaned back space of like, what feels aligned, checking in with my emotional authority, and then responding to the opportunities as they come up. I believe one of the strategy types is an informer or an initiator. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that is the manifestor energy type. And this is really the only strategy that is meant to not just be leaned back and responding or receiving. Like they are informing others of like, this is where I want to go. This is how things are going to happen. They're initiating. And most of the others are not necessarily designed to initiate. Like my initiation looks like me responding to inspiration, responding to an invitation, things like that. So that is just a brief overview on human design. Like I said, the app that I recommend you check out is My Human Design. And yeah, knowing your energy type, knowing your authority, and knowing your strategy, these are the three pieces that I think are most prevalent, most applicable as we start looking at building businesses.
I also got manifesting generator. LOL.
Do you also?
And you and I are on the same path. I didn't say this earlier, but you and I have the same like numerology for this year. We have the same like cycle. So you and I are, and we're cycle synced. So I don't know what is going on here, sister, but
I love that so much. That's crazy. I'm pretty sure Hannah's also a manifesting generator. I'll have to check with her.
makes
But
so much. That would check out
yeah,
so much with her.
yeah. Totally. Oh, it's so fun to look into these things. And not, not necessarily looking for the answers that we don't already have, because I always honor like your intuition, and like the invitation is always to take what resonates and leave the rest. But notice what resonates, because it resonates for a reason, and that's just a little key piece of information that you can take as you move forward in the entrepreneurial journey. And it's super cool. So we are at the end of the teaching presentation for tonight. And the next steps are all about preparing for the journey that we are going on in these next 8 weeks. So first and foremost, you want to join the Slack channel. Just so you're there, you can receive the recording. Once it processes, I'll get it uploaded and shared in the Slack channel. Get those calls scheduled on your calendar if you haven't already. You receive those invitations via email. Also, I think your first most important step would be to put your cycle on your calendar and get that, just kind of scheduled out for the year ahead. So you really don't have to think about it. You can tweak it as you go and as things shift, or if your cycle isn't all that consistent, you can change it up just by tracking things. But it's such a game changer to start intentionally scheduling your activities for when your energy is best primed to be in that space. And then also dive into self-discovery mode with the apps around numerology, astrology, human design. All that is so fun to look into.
And where do we find the homework like for this week, or is there none? Is this the homework?
This is the homework right here.
Okay.
So I don't have any like workbooks for this week, because it's all very much just kind of like preparation, getting excited, kind of anchoring into the mentality of messy action, self-discovery. And the only piece of homework is to get in that Slack channel and share an introduction post or share an introduction video in that questions section of the Slack channel. So you can share your name, where you are based, what kind of business you are building within the program, and a fun, weird, interesting fact about yourself that we might find interesting.
I just downloaded the app, and is there something like that I need to like do to get into our, like, what do I do to get into our one? I guess that's what I'm saying. Is more I'm curious about.
The link to join would have been in that email that was like, welcome to CBBB.
Okay.
And so once you have the app open, it'll probably prompt you to put in an email address. Like, go to that link, click it. I'm sure it'll prompt you to put in an email address. It'll send you a verification code, and then you just put in that verification code from your email address, and then you should be in.
Perfect. I think I'm doing it right now. I think that it says not join this workspace with a hidden email. Oh, I don't mean to do that. Okay. How do I unhide my email?
Ooh.
Try again with another email. We suggest the one that you use for work. Okay. Continue with email.
An email.
hunter.mccool@gmail.com. I don't know if it was with my other email. Check your email. Okay. Open.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I can do this on my own time. But I'll just message you personally if I have any. Oh,
yeah.
I think I've got it.
Are you in?
I think I'm in. Yay. I'm so happy that we that you went over that, because like I was reading through the email, but I obviously must have missed that because I wanted to get everything done beforehand. But here we go. I'll just do turn on notifications, allow, take me to Slack. Okay,
Perfect.
sweet. Yeah, so you and I are both in. It says we have like some unread DMs, and then I'll just do my introduction. And this was so amazing. You are incredible, Michael. Oh my goodness.
Happy. I'm so happy. It was impactful. I cannot wait to get started. In that Slack community, there's like 3 different sections. There's the questions thread, the wins thread, and then just the admin announcements thread. And I've got, you know, kind of little introductions in there to just welcome you into the space and set expectations for how you can use it and what that all gets to look like. And yeah, we're ready to rock and roll. We've got our deep dive tomorrow. I'm so excited for that. And then we'll have that coaching call on Tuesday to start anchoring in with action items and all of that good stuff.
And our deep dive tomorrow, my computer for some reason is like saying everything on Ireland time. So I just want to confirm the time with you for our meeting tomorrow.
Yeah.
It says 12 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. Ireland time. And I don't know why it's doing this. Like, it's so frustrating that my phone for some reason thinks I'm in Ireland.
I've got 10 a.m. Pacific, right? So 10 a.m. to 11:30 Pacific.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to set my alarm right now for that. And I'm so excited to show up. And if there's, I mean, we'll dive deeper tomorrow, but I'll try to come with some questions. I definitely want to go over some of that, like the chart that you send me, just because I'm so interested in that. And yeah, you're awesome.
Perfect. We'll go over your chart and then we'll just kind of go over like what you really want to focus on in your business during this program.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. All right. I'm so excited. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Michael. You're amazing.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.